let me teach you how to set the right timeline for your portrait business so it's not stressing you out. Hey, I'm Sarah Petty, photographer and founder of one of the most profitable photography businesses in the United States, and it is my passion to help other photographers build businesses where they can put their family first and run a thriving photography business. You shouldn't have to pick. Here's how most photographers set timelines for their portrait photography business, for their orders, for their clients. And I know this because I used to think the same thing. I was raised in the culture of the customer is always right, super serve, turn things around fast and quick and awesome, and just do everything you can to over deliver. And in my mind, that meant quick, do it quick. I even see wedding photographers who photograph the wedding and they're at the reception showing the images on the wall. And I remember seeing that years ago when I was a new photographer in my portrait business. And I thought, I don't like this at all because everybody's still wearing the same clothing. There's nothing special about the photos because I can look over here and I see the people laughing and dancing, and then there's a picture of them laughing and dancing. It didn't make sense in my mind. But then as friends got married and they'd come home from like whatever honeymoon they had, all we could do is be excited for the photos, right? Because everything else is gone. It's over. You can't get it back. And then the excitement would build, and it would build, and it would build. And almost the more time that went on, the more valuable it became. Now, years later, it's not acceptable, right? And I'm not a wedding photographer. I did like 1 or 2 weddings and realized, okay, this is not my jam. If they were Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., I would love to do weddings, but I wanted to have my weekends for my family. So I don't do weddings, but I applied that to my portrait business. And I realized that when a mom's here with her baby having the session, or their 3 toddlers, and it's crazy and chaotic, I don't want to show her those images right then. I want her to go home and have them take off all the cute clothes and go back to life as normal. And then I want her to be excited about coming to see them because all the work she did to get them there, it's a distant memory, and then that builds more excitement. So that's really where my belief came in, that it's not a goal to turn images around quickly. It never really has been. Once I figured that out, that speed doesn't actually serve my client, and it doesn't serve me either, because it doesn't allow for that anticipation and that excitement to build. So let's talk about, how do you create that timeline for that portrait experience? First off, I set client expectations from the very beginning. All of my process is about serving my clients, and I sat down and I looked at, okay, if I'm taking care of my very best friend, setting money completely aside, how could I help her make a great decision with her portraits and where they go in her house and what size and all of those things? So I sat down and created my system that way. And I realized also, for me, being just by myself for many years, I had to go home and edit the images and retouch them and build the presentation and do all that work. And I wanted to have a life too. So I realized for me, about 2 weeks was a really sweet spot for me to have the breathing room to edit the images and put together a beautiful presentation. And it was long enough for the mom or the dad or the client, whomever it is, to start to have a little excitement. Also, I like when they have a little anxiety. I love photographing babies and kids, and so many times the parents leave thinking, she didn't get anything, she didn't get anything. And I know I got something, because if I didn't, I would offer a reshoot, which I've had to do very few times, but I have done it over the years. If I didn't get the image that I want and I didn't get what I know I need to be able to thrill my client, I'll reshoot. And I remember one time offering it to the client. She said my daughter came home and threw up all afternoon. She was sick. So she was not feeling well, and it just didn't go well. And we did another session like 2 weeks later, and it was great. So I don't ever force it. If I'm not confident that I got something for the client, I will absolutely do another session. But I want them to have that sort of nervous anxiety when they come in, because that amps up the emotions. That makes them so much more excited when they get to come and view their images, which is what I love. So from the time of the session till they see their images, on average is 2 weeks. Now, if I'm in a super busy season, it may be 3 weeks. Or if I'm near the end of the month and I've got nothing on my books and I'd really like the cash flow in this month, I might bump it up to a week or 10 days. So I'm not rigid with that number. And I've even had clients coming in from out of town for a couple days. We'll do the session at the front end and we'll do the presentation 2 or 3 days later. Not my preference, but I'd rather do it that way where I can sit and hold their hand versus doing it over Zoom, 2 weeks later. I want to be there with them and support them in the best way possible. And then I bring it up at every step of the process. So there are no unrealistic expectations. They're very crystal clear of the time frame. So if there's a red flag or a birthday or some reason they're expecting it or needing it sooner, that can come out up front. Because if I know they have a birthday or some reason they need it quicker, I can turn it around quicker. But if I don't know that until the presentation and they're melting down that they don't get them that day, then that's on me. That's my fault. I did not do my job. That's the thing about systems is we need to take responsibility as the business owner to hold our clients' hands. They don't do this for a living. They don't know what the process should be. They just know they went to Penny's as a kid and they were handed the prints right there. And so that might be their expectation. So we really have to be clear on this. Second, commit to excellence and ensure quality every single time. Even now, after 24 years in business, we still make mistakes and we have to reprint our clients' artwork. Not long ago, we photographed a session on a white wall and something happened with the background and we kept ordering it and there was this weird little moire pattern on the background, I think 4 or 5 times, and it was a big one. And we're boutique and that's okay. We know that we have extra money built into our costs so that we can 100% of the time fix it. Most of the time the client doesn't even know. And that's our core value here is we stop the train at any point if something is not up to our standards. So if it comes back and it's beautiful and it's done and there's a stray hair coming across our client's face that we missed, let's redo it. We see it. We don't want our artwork going out that way. So in all these years, I would say 95% of the time we have fixed it before the client ever had a problem with it. Every few years there's something that we missed. One time it was just that I ordered it too large for her space and that was totally on me. But when we have the time to breathe, we have the time to make sure that we can guarantee excellence every single time. And number 3, this one is so important, okay? I want you to really hear me here. When we're just doing something quick and easy and the client doesn't have any time invested, there's not a lot of value. When you were a kid, if you went to the mall and you got your picture with Santa and you sat down, they took the picture and you picked it on the screen, they printed it, or maybe you've done that with your kids, what do you pay? 30, 50, 75 bucks. There's not a lot of value. But when the client has come in and they've done a planning meeting with you, and then this session has been amazing, and maybe they got their hair done, their kids' hair done, and they bought new outfits, and then they come in for the presentation and you hold their hand, and then they come back for framing, they are so invested in the process. When they make the decision to invest in a large wall portrait, they may be making that decision with their emotion, but they're logically justifying all the work and time they've put in to make it so beautiful. So they're gonna invest more money when they invest more time. So when they invest more time, they will invest more money and they will feel so good about it. So my goal is to not make it easy for the client where, oh, you don't have to come in, you don't have to do anything. I want them to be invested with their time. Because when we get to the end and they're presented with these beautiful options, they're so ready to make a beautiful decision that they're going to have for the rest of their lives. There is no fear or doubt or skepticism, or there's very little of it because of how much attention I've given them throughout the process. I know it can sound overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, what are all these steps? Look, we have a free Facebook group that you can hop in and you can join. I'll put it down in the description so that you can come and you can be picking up these tips and you can be a part of something bigger so that you know how to serve your clients and you don't feel that pressure to be fast, fast, fast all the time. Number 4, here's the thing. By doing this and spreading out your process, this process serves not just your client, but it serves you. You're in business to serve you and your clients. Think about it. We always say there's no such thing as a portrait emergency. We're not brain surgeons. No one's going to die on our table today. So take a breath. And if you educate your clients from the beginning, they will see value in the fact that you took the extra time and attention to make sure every single thing is perfect in their order. That's what they want, and that's what you need to create beautiful, consistent artwork over and over and over again. Don't feel bad about creating a system that serves you as much as it does your clients, and then you can make great money and you can stay in business for lots and lots and lots of years without the running around trying to just do everything really fast and overserve and killing yourself in the meantime. Think about the things you value so much more that you have to wait for versus the things you can get quickly. You get McDonald's very quickly, right? And we just came back from vacation not long ago and we went out for this delicious dinner. All 5 of us, my 3 kids, my husband, and me. And we sat down and we were there probably 3 hours and it was fantastic. We talked and we laughed and they literally brought the raw tray of meat, which my girls and I were like, okay, look away, look away. But they took pride in every single thing they did and they educated us and we laughed and we valued every single thing. When that bill came, it was not the same as McDonald's, I'll tell you that much. And my husband and I joked about what great conversation it was, how much just we treasured that time, because now my kids are getting older. We don't have this quality time together, or we don't have the quantity of time together like we did when they were little. And so we just treasure that time. You build a custom house and you get to be a part of it. Way more valuable than just walking in and grabbing the first house you see because it's convenient. So if you educate your clients and make them part of the process, they're going to love the process. I've been doing this for almost 25 years and my clients just every time love it that much more. They feel like they're being spoiled and they're getting exactly what they want because they get someone who cares enough to hold their hand and give them that much time. I think people look at it wrong. They look at fast is better. No, slow and with intention and with love and care is so much better. And number 5, you get the opportunity to thrill your clients. When you're investing this much time with them, you're building real relationships. They're sharing with you the next portrait opportunity that's coming up before the baby leaves for college, or that their sister-in-law is having a baby and they're planning the shower and great idea to give them a gift certificate. All those things that happen because you're spending more time with your clients and you're building that relationship. So having the opportunity to thrill them, to me, is one of my favorite parts about being in business and being part of their lives. It adds so much value to my life. So really the thing is, it isn't about doing it quicker. The biggest thing, and hopefully you've seen, that it's about setting a realistic timeline for your clients and they will be thrilled. My favorite thing is when they say, oh my gosh, no problem. It was so worth the wait. Subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree?